Welcome to the Killing Podcast. This is episode 9, Undertow.
Undertow.
I'm your host, Martha Southgate.
And I'm Rob Southgate.
All right, so, what did you think?
Oh my gosh, what did I think? This is unbelievable. I mean, each episode just keeps getting more and more and more deep and interesting. And
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's only one element of the story that I'm not as attached to.
Darren Richmond.
Yeah.
His storyline.
But, you know,
it's not the actor's fault.
It's
just
certainly
that
not the actor. And it
distracts me from
Yes.
what's going on with Rosie, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it. Every time they come anywhere close to Darren at this point, it's just kind of circumstantial. It's like, okay, his car was involved, but that's really all we have on that. And then it's all this story of him with Mayor Adams, and you know, I'm sure
And
it ties
Gwen,
in.
and Jamie, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't care about your dumb campaign.
Yeah, it's the campaign.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
just
caring that
mostly
much.
because I don't like politicians. But then it's like, I'm not a
Right.
fan of
Now,
that.
Gut instinct. We are going to find out more because.
Well, they must have him in there for a reason.
Well, yeah. Let's face it. It keeps coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And every other thing outside of that seems to be a distraction. Even though to us as viewers, it feels like the politics are a distraction. Think about it. Each thing that's come up, you know, it seems to be getting disproven, although...
Well, should we jump in?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Let's jump in because this actually is really unexpected to me.
So Sarah and Holder are sitting in their office with an interpreter.
Right.
And she's translating a phone call between Muhammad and Bennett.
Right, and this is that phone call that we saw happening at the end of the last episode.
Yes.
Okay.
And so Muhammad is saying the police don't know anything, but someone told them about the room.
Right.
They know about the girl.
Right. So
What do we do, Bennett?
awfully guilty at this point.
And Bennett says they won't be able to find you. We just need to stay calm, okay? The passports will be arriving tomorrow. When they do, this will be all over. So we're freaking.
Yeah, of
We
course.
are absolutely freaking out.
You know, we know how this is going to resolve, but
But at
at
the
this
time,
point,
we
I'm
didn't.
thinking when they're talking about the passports, it's Muhammad and Bennett are skipping the country. They're getting out of there.
Either that or they've got... that too. But I'm thinking they've got...
like they're getting... Well, no.
I thought that was human trafficking.
Yeah. So you're thinking that's what it is, and maybe Muhammad's going to slip out
I
with
fully thought it was human trafficking.
Because I was thinking Bennett's going to just skip out on his wife and just disappear.
I don't think so, because I don't think they had anything on him. Muhammad, I could see him getting him out of town.
Well, yeah, but wouldn't this call be something on him?
Not if it's not a legal wiretap.
And he doesn't know.
Exactly.
He doesn't know. Okay.
And not if it's not illegal, if they didn't get it through legal channels.
Right. Well, and Holder thinks this is all they need.
Yeah, he was done. He's like, okay, come on, we could go snag Bennett.
And
Sarah, not so sure.
Well, not so sure, but she orders a unit to go in and watch Bennett. She is moving ahead with arresting him. So
she went, though, to go make sure the paperwork was all in order.
Right. But
so she said, yeah, you go ahead.
But at the same time...
And I'll send a unit, and I'm going to go fix the paperwork.
At the same time, she is moving forward. She's sending a unit over there to watch him. So...
Oh, she's making sure...
Cross the T's,
because
dot the
he's
I's.
just jumping, and she's going, don't be so sure. I've seen things like this fall through. Don't be so sure.
He's playing that game. Jump to conclusions.
Yes.
That was an Office Space.
Yes. I didn't
You're like,
remember
what are you
that.
talking about?
I did know. I remembered the
you
game.
remember that,
but
right?
I actually thought I might have played it in the 80s.
Hey, remember the 80s?
Yeah, I thought maybe.
Hardly.
I was like, jump to conclusions. I think that was like at the same time as Bumper Stumpers.
What?
Or something. Tic-tac-toe.
The only one I remember was there was one that was 6ULDV8.
Sexual deviant?
That was the Bumper Stumper.
On the show?
I think.
I don't think that was.
That is one I saw.
I think you made that up.
No. What? I sat around trying to think of Bumper Stumpers. I wonder. No, I saw that one or it was on the show. I know it from somewhere.
Really?
Yeah. That was a real license plate.
I'm glad you haven't asked me to get that on our car.
No.
So...
I wanted to put a 1 at the end, but there's too many...
Sexual deviant 1?
Yeah, well, because somebody had sexual deviant. Okay, anyway, back to the show.
Meanwhile, Mitch calls to apologize.
She calls
Sarah.
Sarah to apologize.
She wants to know if they've arrested him yet, and Sarah says, it'll be over tonight.
Yeah.
So she doesn't say yes.
No.
She just says, it'll be over tonight.
Which, once again, is going to cause Mitch to jump to conclusions.
Yes, I see a running theme here.
And
so what happens?
It's raining is one thing that's happening.
Come on now.
It's ridiculous.
This show. And it's never a drizzle.
No.
And it's a freaking downpour.
This was a rain.
Every time. It's a beating down.
You know, I watch it and I feel wet.
Ew!
It's not in a weird way.
Is that like the sexual deviant?
No! It's like, oh, you just feel drenched. It's just awful.
I feel uncomfortable all the time. But I think they want you to.
Yes.
And I want to go change my sweater that I'm not wearing. But I keep watching her sweater and I just keep wanting to go change my clothes.
I didn't notice. Did she have the sweater in this
She's
one?
had so many sweaters.
Okay.
Each one worse than the next.
No. The one was the worst.
That one was the worst. You're right. The first one.
But I think that one's reappeared. I can't remember if it's this episode or not.
I just need the itchy sweater damp feeling to stop. Do you ever get that not so fresh feeling?
You ever get
Yes, when I watch The Killing.
You ever get that itchy sweater feel?
Wet, and the smell, like you know what a sweater smells like.
Well, wool one, yeah. It's got that wool stink.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
So,
and hers are all wool, so.
They're just, it's not good.
Stan gets home.
So Stan gets home. Oh.
And Mitch says that they've arrested the teacher. Yeah, that they've arrested him.
The teacher. But they haven't.
Not yet.
Nope. Not at all.
You know, she's relieved. He's relieved. It's that sense of it's over.
There's been some closure.
Right. Right. And after all that's happened with them assuming it was him and that whole thing when he drove him out there and then let him go, and it was like, you know, all that has come to a head. Here you go. It's over. Or at least that's what they're feeling.
For some reason, yeah, she has decided it's over.
Yes.
And has jumped ahead a little bit.
Conclusion?
Shut up. So, okay, so the other, so here we go into the storyline that I'm just not a fan of.
Yeah.
The mayor holds a press conference. He's got all these allegations against him about this mistress and
yeah, well, this is what Darren was talking about in the other episode when he was like, fine, I want to do this. I'm going to play dirty now. They brought up the fact that Mayor
he says
Adams,
it about that enthusiastically.
Yeah, that Mayor Adams had an affair. He is denying it and claims there's no way that this happened. There's no way that kid is mine.
And he accuses the senator of mudslinging.
Right. And he says that I can't have kids. And his wife is standing there right behind him. It's just like we see with politicians all the time.
Oh.
Whenever there's a scandal, the wife's standing right there, and you can tell the guy's lying through his teeth, and that's exactly what's going on here. There's no question. No question in my mind. Sarah
comes into this, into the
campaign office.
Thank you. I could not come up with the word. And she's trying to get records, any of the records that involve Bennett from the senator.
Right. And Darren's not exactly forthcoming with this because he's like, he seems ticked off. And he's going, we already gave you everything. They're all complete.
But they didn't.
Right. And they're not complete. And that's why she's there. And she, I forget what she says, but she tells him what certain records are just not there. And he doesn't like, oh, I'm sorry, or I'll get somebody out. He still seems perturbed. It's like, what's with this guy? That's why I think there's something up.
Yeah. The mayor...
It's not that he's hiding something. It's that he's perturbed by all this. He's not...
Well...
He's not 100% in it to help.
No. Okay. So the mayor's paying off the girl and his doctor. You see that after. He's making phone calls and his people are making phone calls to confirm his story. So the girl and his doctor are both confirming that, yes, he's had the surgery. She's confirming that she never had any relations with that man.
Yeah, well, they're confirming it.
Because he's paying him off.
They're making it up, right.
So,
and this is a great line. I don't know if you wrote this one down. But
I didn't.
He says to that assistant of his, who I don't know his name yet, but the guy who's his assistant, he says, the truth is whatever you say it is.
Oh.
It's like, wow. And his wife is walking by right at that moment, and she gives him a cold look. And he says something like, for whatever she knows or whatever. Like, they completely dismiss the wife, like, we got one past her. There's no way. She knows this happened.
Oh, he's just a scumbag. But
she's standing by him because
they all are. I don't
she
like
wants
any of
her
them.
political thing, and
So Drexel, we find out that Drexel...
I thought it was Drexler.
What, who?
I thought his name was Drexler.
Okay.
Is it Drexel or Drexler?
I don't know what the heck his name is. Mark.
Well, I'm going with Drexler.
Mark?
Mark Cuban is who he's kind of based on.
No, is it Mark Drexler? Drexel?
I don't know.
All right, hang on. I'll find out.
I'm going with D-Money.
So we find out that Drexler,
right. And it's not Mark, it's Tom.
I didn't say Mark.
You did.
Just now?
You said it was like Mark Cuban.
Whatever.
I said it was Mark Cuban, but you said it was Mark.
Okay.
Okay. Through the magic of electronics, I looked it up, and it's Tom Drexler.
Pulled his backing from Richmond's campaign.
Yes.
So then we go to Holder. He finds a judge. He goes, I don't know where he found, the guy's working out.
Yeah.
And he shows up and the guy's exercising.
Well, and he knows this guy. This is his go-to judge.
Yeah.
His name is Rusty, by the way.
Who doesn't like him?
And, what?
He doesn't like him and he doesn't want to help him.
Well, he's his go-to judge, but he's not going to just roll over for him either. He says, this is not going to happen in my courtroom. But this is the guy that if there's a way that things can get sped through, this is the guy that's going to help him out. Mm-hmm. And he says, it's not going to happen.
Well, he says,
all you have is an illegal wiretap, and I'm not going to.
Right.
I'm not signing off on this thing. So that's
the judge won't sign because he's trying to use the Patriot Act, and there's no warrant. He's not going to give him a warrant.
Right. It's not going to happen. And that's it. Warrant's dead. Holder calls.
Holder once again jumped the gun and
the gun.
Yeah, and Sarah luckily was doing the other things because without this paperwork,
right,
they're in some real trouble if they had gone ahead and
if they just jumped into it.
He was convinced that no, we got this, man. It's in the bag. We got this, no problem. No, you didn't.
No, and he calls Sarah, tells her, and obviously she's not happy about it, but the whole thing's blown. That's it.
She's happier than the boss.
Okay, so
their boss is P.O.
Yeah, he chews them out.
And he gives one of my favorite lines in this. This episode didn't have a lot of fun. This was not a fun episode.
Okay.
But, because sometimes they give Holder some really funny ones. Or this
one, as far as dialogue, none of them have been very fun episodes.
No, this was not. But this line, I did.
Remember that Wacky Cage episode?
No, but I do love this. When their boss is yelling at them, and he looks at Sarah and he says, "You're supposed to keep him out of trouble, not show him how," because she was, of course,
that was a good one,
encouraging a lot of this.
Right.
They played him the tape, but he's still not buying it. Now,
well, no, but he can't either. It's like he doesn't even want to hear it. You can't use this. Why are you playing it for me?
So then we got Bennett's wife.
Right. Okay. So Bennett's wife is very suspicious, obviously, and she's trying to get the information off of Bennett's phone.
She's trying to write down Muhammad's phone number.
Right. She writes down his name. She's trying to write down the phone number.
Dummy. She's writing it on the front of the newspaper.
Yeah.
Like, that's not sneaky.
No. And
she wrote Muhammad.
Yeah.
And that.
How about putting an M or something completely innocuous, but that you would know this is Muhammad?
How about you write it on your hand?
Right.
Or something. But she writes it on
she doesn't need to write it on her hand, but on the newspaper that he's very likely going to come out and sit down and read.
It blew my mind.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And he walks out because the phone's ringing, and he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, his cell phone rings as she's looking up Muhammad's number.
And it says unknown caller, and of course we know who that probably is. Oh, no, it wouldn't be. I was going to say it's Muhammad, but it can't be because
she had his phone number.
Okay.
So Bennett comes and takes it.
I jumped to conclusions. So, Bennett takes it and walks into the kitchen.
So Richmond's campaign is completely falling apart. And he says that he's finished with the mudslinging.
Right.
But everything is just falling down.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Well, and he supposedly, from what we're seeing here, this is like his first foray into mudslinging, and it's backfired. It's a bad scene. It's not his way of doing politics.
No, and the other guy just spun it right around onto him.
Well, the other guy's a pro at it.
Exactly, and so really not well thought out.
Yeah,
and he's not they're not evenly matched.
No. No, not when it comes to this.
If they were in a political cage match.
Political cage match.
They would not. Richmond would not win.
Right. Mary Adams is hitting him with a chair and knocking him to the ground right now.
Because he tossed a pencil at him. Was the equivalent of he kind of Darren just kind of picked up a pencil and limply threw it at him.
Cage match.
And the other guy turned around and whipped him with a chair. That's how mismatched they are.
Yeah, they don't allow pencils in cage matches because you could lose an eye. Maybe he threw
Well, that's
his
a
shoe.
political cage match.
He threw a shoe.
It's a proverbial cage match.
A cage match?
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So Mitch's sister, this was a really awkward scene to me, but Mitch's sister, Terry, found Rosie's books in her car.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, uncomfortable, not fun.
No.
Brings him into Mitch, says, hey, I can take him back to the school if you want. She says, no, I want to drop him off.
Yeah, and why would you give them to her if you could have just done that?
Them, right, but I don't know.
You could have just done that and not opened this wound.
Yeah, it's weird.
But Terry doesn't have a lot of...
It was a plot device because Mitch then can go through the book and she finds a scrap of paper and she's looking through it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name that's on it, but she finds a scrap of paper.
It says Adela.
Yes.
11:45.
Yes, that's what she sees on it. And that makes no sense, but I know that's going to be playing in somewhere.
So Bennett's wife calls Sarah, and she sits there. And you're going, come on.
Right.
And nothing. She hangs up before talking to her.
Yeah, before she can get Sarah on the phone, she hangs up.
This episode was very unusual for this show because every single scene was a few seconds long. There was not a scene that was more than a minute long. I didn't feel like, and it
didn't have. A lot of things happened in this.
It was all to move it along, but it was very. It was very much a non-episode. Like everything it was just. Not a lot to sink your teeth into.
Right.
It was all these little
Not until the end. The end gets really
But just these tiny little snippets of things.
But you know what? These are all important because going forward, the things we're seeing here are things that are going to kind of play out as we go forward.
Yeah.
So this is important, but
it's just a weird episode.
Like, hey, I want to go back and watch this series, and this is the first episode I'm going
to No. Oh, no. So Stan...
I could pick up any of the other episodes. If I saw it was on, I'd watch it.
Yeah, this one is a little difficult for me to get into. But Stan is moving a family. Okay, they're working. And Belko is trying to convince him to keep the house he bought.
Right.
So Mitch is at the school to return the books, and...
she sees Bennett.
Not good.
Bennett not in jail. So that's just unbelievable.
This is a major blow to Mitch.
Yes.
And Sarah and Holden.
What?
Holder? What's his name?
Lyndon and Holder. Let's try that again.
I wrote Holden. Okay. Sarah and Holder are having lunch at her desk, and she finds a note of Rosie's that says Adela 11:45. Okay,
so that's the Adela 11:45 that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, she didn't find that in the book.
Mitch found something in the book.
But we don't know what.
No, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think she just found a graded paper, and it was probably graded by Bennett. They didn't say that, but that's probably why she reacted or why she was looking at it. Okay. So the Adela 11:45 is something that Sarah found.
Yeah, and so they've got to try to figure out who this Adela is.
Back on track.
Where was she supposed to be at 11:45?
Right.
Right as Bennett's wife shows up.
Right.
And she gives them Muhammad's phone number.
Right. And this is huge because,
she's really putting herself out.
She tried calling. She didn't get through. She's taking notes. This is really risky. Here she's pregnant. She's doubting her husband. And she's going as far as going to the police. This is really pretty intense stuff.
Yep.
Pretty intense. So, okay. She also says, I think that Muhammad and Bennett have done something.
Yeah.
So
she's pretty convinced that there's something.
And we know there's something up.
Yeah.
But she's really scared. And I'm sure she doesn't like Muhammad because I think that when she was crying in that episode, when she was in the house, she was crying and they were knocking at the door. I think it's because she's afraid of these guys.
Yeah.
And can't understand them and doesn't know what's going on. And Bennett acts weird because of it. Mm-hmm. Here you go.
Yep. So Bennett goes into the teacher's lounge at the school.
Yes.
And it is extremely awkward.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is acting weird.
They're all giving him the stink eye. And he's just acting like everything's normal. He's walking up. He's like, oh, did you get those graded papers? And they're like, yeah. And then the principal walks in.
Yep.
And they start whispering to the principal. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's,
get him out of here.
Yeah, get him out of here.
He's accused of killing one of the students. I mean,
yes.
It's not a little accusation.
No.
And it's not about something like tax evasion.
Yeah,
he's accused of killing one of their own students.
Yeah, this is really bad.
You do not keep a teacher like that in, even if it's just a suspicion, even if I don't care. And so what the heck is he doing in that school? It's insane.
Right. So then she goes up to him and she tells him to leave, and he won't do it. And he starts, basically playing the race card on her. Like, if you do this, it's going to look really bad politically for you and for the school, and it looks like a racist move and all this. And
he said that?
It's something like that. Yeah,
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive.
Or are you just making that up?
No, I think he did. Right. I may have been just something I was thinking during it, but I really think he said something to that effect, which is why she backed down. And then he goes to his classroom.
To teach that class. Oh.
And he says right away, there have been accusations, there's rumors going around. If anybody has any questions, now's your chance. And everyone sits there silently. So then he thinks he's going to teach the class. And one by one, they start getting up.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it thinking, I would have walked out.
I would have been out of there so fast. I would have been out of there.
Not fear that, he's going to kill us all. It would have been, I can't sit here while this is happening.
Yeah.
This is not right. And this is one of the greatest moments. Now, this episode did not have a lot of great moments, but this was one of the greatest moments. An image that's going to stick with me, too. The camera turns around as the kids are walking out. The camera turns around, and Bennett is standing there trying to have his composure, and written on the blackboard behind him, it says, on the whiteboard, it says, killer.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. That is just...
It's one of those white dry erase
like a dry erase? Yeah,
and it's written, I think, in red, and it just says killer.
I was thinking it was chalk and...
No, it says killer in big letters across the whiteboard.
So the image is staying with me, but not in the right colors.
Really stands out. Really disturbing.
Yeah. And, man. That was really...
And he
really
had to have seen it when he walked in.
Well,
the guy's weird.
Of course he did,
He's
but that's
so freaking
why...
weird.
Of course that he did, because that's why he addressed the class.
No, I think he would have addressed the class no matter what, but the fact that he could stand there and leave it on the blackboard, on the now you got me calling it that, on the whiteboard, and not erase it and not address it.
Right.
That's why everybody left. It is weird. The guy is a freak.
He is the king of bad choices.
Yes. And
this is
and has no communication skills.
Right.
So Darren, oh gosh, help me. Okay, we got to get through a Darren scene.
We'll make it quick. Darren goes to the mosque.
I wrote temple.
It's a mosque.
Well, I maybe I was thinking Temple of Doom, because every time I see him, I just...
No, Temple of Doom's awesome.
No, but Doom. Oh, it's Darren. Okay.
You don't say Temple of
Doom
to me and think it's a negative thing.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So...
Didn't mean to offend.
That's right. So, I went and sat through the marathon of those movies in one sitting. That's
not
awesome.
the Darren Richmond.
No, not Darren Richmond. If it had been the Darren Richmond storyline in that, I couldn't have made it. But Temple of Doom, absolutely. So, now all I can think about is Short Round and Temple of Doom. So,
well, does that make Jamie or Gwen Short Round? Which one?
Ooh. Well, no, it'd have to be Jamie as Short Round, and Gwen would be Steven Spielberg's wife. I can't think of her name. But she's the one that played the girl in Temple of Doom is the one that married...
Catherine...
I don't know. But she married
Bigelow.
Steven Spielberg. No, it's not Catherine Bigelow. But she married Steven Spielberg in real life, not in Indiana Jones' life. And that would be Gwen, and then Jamie would be Short Round.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Jones.
So they're at the Mosque of Doom, and there's graffiti. And somebody had written swastikas all over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just awful, just major.
And Darren's saying, "Look, I support
out.
your community. I'm not standing for this," and they are justifiably upset.
Oh yeah, and it's
saying it's a bunch of garbage,
and it's very upsetting to see. I mean, it happens all the time, and it's happened throughout history. But there are people that, humans just do not do well with the unknown and with fear.
There's racial profiling going on here because, let's face it, this is a post 9/11 world,
and it just becomes,
on top of this killing,
you look like this, you come from here, and someone now is associated with your
you're
thing,
a terrorist.
Then you're all like you must all be bad, and it's very hard.
And let's face it, for this group, it's doubly bad because there is something going on, something right out of the mosque, and right there at the Hillel Butcher. Yeah. So this looks really bad, even if these guys are completely innocent and saying, no, this is not what you think.
Somebody is not innocent.
Something is not kosher here. Thank you. Thank you. I've been working that one up.
Well, I called it a temple.
Yeah.
So your kosher thing fits, but we're wrong.
So let's get back on track here. Mitch, we'll get out
Sarah
of the...
and Holder.
Yeah.
Are following Muhammad's GPS signal.
Oh, right. I jumped right to the next part, which
Mitch
is...
shows up
at the station
finds
and
Sarah,
confronts
and
Sarah.
She's just disgusted that Bennett is still free. She's just beside herself with anger and...
Well, and she doesn't even know what happened in the school. In her mind, he walked in, they handed him a cup of coffee, he got on a unicorn, he rode into class. She's thinking
this guy is able to do whatever he wants and live his life, and he's not paying for what he did to Rosie.
Right. So she doesn't even know, so she's really unhappy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Once again, Sarah screwed up. She shouldn't have said anything to her. She should have kept her mouth shut.
Newsflash.
Yeah. And this is what happens.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So Sarah's at the market. She's at like an outdoor market, like if you've ever been to Cleveland and West Side Market or something like that. Yeah, so she's looking for Muhammad.
It's like a farmer's market, but like a permanent one.
Kind of not. But it's an open air market.
They're looking for Muhammad. And this is really cool. Sarah comes up with a great plan.
Yeah, I loved this.
So they keep looking around. They're not seeing anything. The two of them split up. Sarah then gets an idea. She goes up the escalator.
Hello.
She goes up the escalator. She dials Muhammad's number, and she watches to see if anyone picks up a phone. And there's this guy standing there, and he picks up the phone, he looks at the name, puts it right down, okay? He's not picking it up. He doesn't recognize the number. She dials it again. Same guy, picks up the phone, it's ringing. She knows it's him. She starts to go down the escalator slowly. He looks up and knows she's doing it. He runs. She runs after him. This was exciting stuff.
It was fun.
She loses him.
Yeah, she loses him. That was upsetting. Come on,
But then
Sarah.
he runs right by Holder.
Yeah.
And Holder just takes off after him.
Well, of course, Holder not knowing necessarily that this is their guy. Any cop who sees a guy running, yeah, you're going to chase him.
Well, and Holder's
stop
an
him.
excitable guy too.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're playing tag.
Yeah.
And he goes running after it.
So no matter what, he would have chased after anyone running.
Yeah, who would?
But he happens to be chasing after their suspect.
He's after Muhammad. And you know what? This was really
him.
good too. The way they caught him was very believable. You know, in a lot of shows, it's like they trip over a garbage can, or they run into a fruit cart and they nab him, or, you know, miraculously the second person is standing in the alley with a gun. No. This was really believable. Holder grabbed him. Sarah showed up at the same time. It made sense. Yeah. And there wasn't that, like, cheesy Magnum P.I. moment. So...
I always liked Magnum P.I. Sorry.
You liked his mustache.
I did.
I'm growing one.
I'm not a fan of stashes.
Do you want me to grow one?
No.
Just like that?
No.
I want to grow one and have it connect to my sideburns.
But I liked him.
Mm-hmm. Tom Selleck. Speaking of Indiana Jones, if it wasn't for his TV conflict, he actually was cast as Indiana Jones before Harrison Ford.
Oh, that would have been bad.
Yeah, wouldn't have worked.
That would have been.
But I do like
bad.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
But he's no Indiana Jones.
No. And then it makes me think of Big Chill.
Why?
Because the guy in Big Chill was supposed to be like Tom Selleck. He had the same thing, and he played
Who?
The one guy, and he played
Do you mean Tom Selleck?
No, and he played an actor in the movie. He was an actor from a TV show, just like
it's been so
Magnum
long since
PI.
I've seen it.
And it was something. Was
it Kevin Kline?
JT Lancer.
Who's JT Lancer?
His character. That's the character.
Was it Kevin Kline playing him? Because he had
No. It was somebody else.
William Hurt?
No.
Jo Beth Williams?
Tom Berenger? Is that a guy?
Yeah. Was he in it?
I don't know. I might have made that up.
Was Tom Skerritt in it? Was it Tom Skerritt?
Oh, no, but I like him.
Kevin Costner was
I love
in it.
him.
Did you know that?
And,
Did you know that Kevin Costner's in The Big Chill?
Yeah, he plays the dead body.
The dead guy, but you never see him.
You see the body.
No, you don't.
Oh, shut up. Yes, you do.
I don't think so.
Yes, you do. I've seen the movie 100 times.
I thought he was cut out of it.
No. You don't see his face, but you see the
We agree to disagree.
body. Okay. So anyway,
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
you know why we're doing this, audience?
Audience?
We're doing this to get away from this next scene that we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Because this is the biggest train wreck of all time. I hate this scene. And I want to talk about Big Chill.
I want to talk about Indiana Jones. So
anything else
let's just
other
do
than
this.
this scene.
Darren is at a bar.
Oh, he's at this fancy schmancy politician's bar or something.
And they've got this jukebox
Why?
that plays this
Why would they have
song.
First of all, why would they have a gaudy jukebox in the middle of this? And I do like to call them jute boxes, so don't judge me.
Why would you call it a jute box?
Because I like to.
It's a jukebox.
I know, but I don't like that word, so I call it a jute box.
I just thought it was a speech impediment.
No, I'm doing that on purpose.
You're a real pain in the butt.
So, I do like jute rugs, too. I'm just trying to not talk about this dang scene. Okay, so the ugly jukebox, you want me to call it a jukebox?
Yes.
Is...
You're very Fleming when you say jukebox.
Is in this fancy bar.
Yes.
Out of place, gaudy, awful, really,
yeah.
And it's filled with like music. It's not even
like crap.
Why? Where do you even get this music?
So he plays this song,
I hate this scene.
And you can tell he's being all sentimental. It's obviously something about Lily. I mean, you can tell that, and it is.
Blah,
he goes into this.
blah, blah.
Gwen shows up and says that the machinists have pulled out of the campaign or out of his support,
but it's not over yet. If you'll just talk about Lily.
Yeah, so he decides to talk about Lily to her and about this song.
Oh, give me strength.
And it's this weird,
the story makes no sense. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Why wouldn't they pick, a good song that you may recognize?
Yeah.
Some kind of, licensed song or something.
And something
Hootie and the Blowfish. That would have made sense.
What? Okay.
You recognized it?
I know, but...
Hold my hand, and then he'd get all weepy and go and try to hold his hand?
No.
And then...
I'm glad you're not a writer. So, yeah, so...
Maybe Huey Lewis?
She's... Oh.
Is he from Seattle?
Seriously, I after this scene and hearing Huey Lewis, I would have had to off myself. Okay. So she says, you need to talk about Lily and let them see something real. They need a reason to believe in you again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Bye. Adios. I'm out of the bar.
See, and the song,
I'm away from the
jukebox by Huey
jukebox.
Lewis would have been perfect right here. I bet that's on that jukebox.
Oh, I hate it. Okay. So Stan gets home and Mitch is crying and she says, okay, this is powerful.
And she's back in Rosie's room. So every time she's in Rosie's room, we are crashing against the rocks.
So here we go. She says, they let him go. That man that killed our child, and you let him go.
I mean, she just sticks a knife in Stan.
Wow. And I have chills.
She's very clearly giving the message, you need to make this right now.
Yeah. She's letting him know that this is your fault.
Right.
and you need to go fix it.
Yeah. Oh.
And she's letting him know, I mean, in no uncertain terms,
terrible.
go back to your past life and recreate that. And, you need to go murder this man. Yeah. I mean, she's really giving him
And here's Stan, who has already gone through this. He already drove Bennett out there, and then he didn't do it. So he's, like, dealing with that. It's terrible.
Bad. It's all bad.
This is terrible in a different way.
This is a good bad. This is a great storyline. No, this is a great storyline.
Yeah.
It's the other one that I just would like to not have to talk about ever again. So Sarah and Holder go in to question Muhammad.
Yes.
And then we have to go back to Richmond.
Right. This is where we're getting all
Here's
fast again.
Another scene of the worst of all time.
Okay.
Second to worst of all time.
This might actually be worse than that last one.
In a different way.
Because it's offensive in a whole new way.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
And this is really 3 bad Darren scenes in a row. Not the actor's fault, just...
I'm going to let you just take this one, and I'm going to go to my special place and pretend like this isn't happening.
Darren goes in and asks Drexler for $5 million. He's, going in there, guns blazing, like... I'm coming in here to get $5 million. And Drexler's like, I'm not supporting you, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, I'll make a deal with you.
Well, no. He wants a stadium.
He wants a stadium. And Darren's like, that's not going to happen. He's playing all tough now. So he says, look, I'll give you the $5 million if you can make this shot.
Oh, please.
And,
just give me
Darren says, I want, if I make that shot, I want the $5 million and the ball. It's so lame. It's like a McDonald's commercial.
Oh, it's so stupid.
The Larry Bird and Michael Jordan ones, but those were fun.
Those were supposed to be funny.
This isn't fun.
This isn't supposed to be funny, and it's not. It's not fun. It isn't fun.
No.
It isn't funny.
No.
So
not funny at all. Lame.
So it says. But
we don't get to see what happens.
Well, no. Hang on. He says.
I'm trying to get out of this scene. It's already cut away from me.
No, he says one shot. Drexler says one shot. And you get your $5 million. Miss, and you have to leave the race.
So
what freaking idiot is going to take that shot?
So he's going to take the shot and then go and miss and then go, you're right, I'm not going to do this anymore. No, he's going to go out and make more money. It's stupid.
Oh my gosh, worst scene. Yeah, you're right. It's
stupid.
They're equal.
No,
it's awful. It's awful.
Bad.
So anyway, Holder.
At least the last one had Huey Lewis and
Ew, no, it didn't. Holder and Sarah
Hootie and the Blowfish
are questioning Muhammad, and they have the interpreter there, even though, really, I don't think they need an interpreter. He seems to speak English.
No, he speaks English! Yeah, but he holds that card until the right moment, and then he's like, yeah, okay, I understand everything.
Yeah, then we got Darren taking the shot. Bye.
Yep.
See ya. Who cares? They threatened to hand Muhammad over to the FBI.
Right.
Now, this is a really...
Well, this is where Muhammad starts to...
ridiculous threat, though, because they have no evidence against this guy other than an illegal wiretap.
But you know what? They're doing what they have him. They're using every ploy they can to try to get something out of him.
And they're letting him know that Bennett, is ratting on him.
Right. And this is where he starts to speak English.
Oh, yes.
And he says that... Well, I wrote down, he says that Rosie came to Bennett's house. But
I wrote that too, but he didn't say that.
Rosie, he says she. Right. But I wrote down that he says that Rosie came to Bennett's place, and then he says they had to take her.
He let her in, and they took her to the butcher shop. The people from the mosque found out where she was, so they moved her.
Right, and this is where we realize...
So we find out, no, it's not Rosie, it's the girl that's missing from the mosque.
It's the girl from the mosque. And then we find out that the girl from the mosque is 12 years old, and... her family was going to do female circumcision on her, and they were protecting her
from abuse.
Oh my gosh,
torture!
And this makes so much sense.
So here they were actually heroes, but Bennett is such a freaking stupid moron that he cannot at any point indicate to his wife or anyone else that he hasn't done any of this.
Right. Now, he can't say to them that they have this girl.
No, but he could say plenty.
He could say it to his wife.
He could have said plenty.
He could have diffused a lot of the situation, and instead, he walks around looking suspicious.
In a lot of ways, he deserves what he gets. Not that he doesn't deserve to be beaten.
About that.
He doesn't deserve to be beaten, but he deserves the chain of events that
the strain
that
on his life. He deserves, but not to be
because he's a freaking idiot.
Yes,
spoiler: he gets freaking idiot.
So.
Okay, so I want to put him and Darren together, and I just want to bash their heads together.
And it's going to make
a few times.
Kukla sound.
Except now Bennett's in the hospital, and I can't do it. That would be really bad.
So the other thing is, they had mentioned earlier that they needed the passports. This is why.
Yeah, to get her
to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So it really makes a lot of sense. Yeah. We still don't know. We're still kind of making assumptions here, but boy, this makes a lot more sense.
Oh yeah, it does. And Stan and Belko are attacking Bennett.
Yeah.
Then we see
and Belko's
Mitch.
like, Stan's beating him, and Belko's in the back like
he's
doing
a freak.
Like some kind of
a freak.
Goofy, like he's punching a rock.
Like his adrenaline is so high that he can't stand it.
Yeah. He's got like doofus strength though. He's like punching the air.
He's just a weirdo. So Mitch is doing laundry and she finds Rosie's T-shirt.
T-shirt it's the T-shirt from
that Sarah
butcher.
Found at the butcher shop. But
it's not that T-shirt. It's actually Rosie's.
It's the one Mitch identified as Rosie's, and it was not Rosie's T-shirt.
She knows at that moment
that he's innocent.
Bennett's innocent.
And she cannot get Stan on the phone. She cannot stop him, and she knows what she sent him to do.
And we see, this is when it's getting quick, and we're seeing these little cuts. Holder and Linden are knocking on the door to talk to this girl. No one's coming to the door.
Yeah.
That's when Mitch sees the shirt. We know he's innocent then. Then the girl comes to the door.
After she finds the shirt. Yeah.
Yes. After she finds the shirt. And they know.
Yeah.
Muhammad's telling the truth. Bennett's innocent. This is all exactly what he said.
And Bennett's wife is looking at the baby crib, and you just feel so bad for her because he could have stopped this.
Right.
At any point, he could have told her. Why wouldn't you tell her?
And then we're seeing Stan beating on Bennett some more, and we're seeing, Belko.
I mean, but why wouldn't he tell his wife?
Creep it out in the background.
She would much rather think of him as a hero than as somebody who's destroying their lives and cheating on her and doing all these bad things. He's a freaking moron.
So Mitch is still calling Stan. He's not answering. He finishes beating on Bennett. And
they leave him.
And Belko goes over and gives him a couple of good kicks.
Yeah, and then they leave him for dead.
Stan pulls him off. We don't know if Bennett's alive, if he's dead. He's just there. We see clearly that he is unconscious. And he may be dead.
Yeah. I wish this episode was. Let's finish this. This was my least I have loved every episode. I hated this episode.
Yeah, there were reasons.
There were elements that I liked that needed to be there.
Well, no. What we liked, everything with Holder and Linden.
Holder and Linden.
That was all great. It was just the Bennett stuff was so bad.
And Darren Richmond.
I said Bennett. I meant Darren
Not
Richmond.
Bennett. Bennett's all good.
No.
All of that could stay.
The Richmond stuff.
This campaign,
it was one after
I'm
the
so
other.
over it. No. I'm so over this whole storyline. I cannot stand these people.
Yeah.
And I can't stand the storyline.
I don't
so
like
I'm having
Drexler.
A lot of trouble.
I think all of it's just...
So I'm hoping the next episode...
Oh, wait, we forgot one little moment.
Be good. What?
We also did see Darren back at his office on the phone, and the basketball was sitting there.
Basketball.
He made it!
Oh, wow. That's because you've got that all-star thing. Because you're a great basketball player.
Hey, we've had great
I love this show.
To these shows.
I love this show, but I did not like this episode.
Just because the Darren thing. If you took that out...
Oh, I love that episode.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Star Wars Episode 1. Mm-hmm. There's a thing called the Phantom Edit, where they edit it down to about 45 minutes, and it's awesome. Put the 45 minutes back in, and Jar Jar Binks and all that, and it's like torture. That's how this was. Take the whole Darren Richmond storyline out of this episode, and it was awesome.
Yes, I agree. All right,
Darren Richmond was the... Mitch Richmond was
We need to put this to bed.
He was the Jar Jar Binks of this killing episode.
Okay.
All right.
Let's end
Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been the Killing Podcast, brought to you by Southgate Media Group. You can find past episodes of this and all our other podcasts. We've got like almost 20 now going at www.southgatemediagroup.com. You can follow our Twitter feed for this show at The Killing Pod, and you can also follow me personally at R Southgate. On our website, I also want to point this out, we have now added a donate button because this is basically all listener supported. And we say that, but we had no way for you to support us. So now, if you want to donate something, feel free to go to our website and please donate. Please catch us on iTunes and Stitcher. At iTunes, give us reviews. It really, really helps us. Even if you don't want to write a review, just put a 5-star on there. I would appreciate it.
After today, you might want to put 4.
Put a 4. No. But we would really appreciate that. So that's it. Let's call this one done. Thanks again for listening, everybody. My name is Rob Southgate.
I'm Martha Southgate.
That's it. Maybe next week we'll find out who really did kill Rosie Larson.
It wasn't Bennett.
Swish.
Ew.